Tyler Deaver is here with us this week. Appreciate you coming back and being on the show with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys.
You're going to play some songs for us today. We're going to talk hunting. We're going to talk fishing. I tell you what, let's go ahead and kick it off with a song.
Holding hands, walking down the logging road, just a guy and a girl, 100 acres. I think we took that place for granted. The cows, the hills, and the whitetail bucks.
Let's talk hunting, fishing.
Absolutely.
How did your 23-24 season go? I mean, how was it?
Yes.
What'd you get into?
I did a ton of fly fishing this year. I went back home to Wisconsin in November, and I got a really nice buck on Veterans Day. When I was up there, I hung out of a tree saddle. They're so versatile, and you can just kind of get anywhere. He kind of came up over a ridge, and had I not had that, might have got pegged in the tree.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tennessee WildCast. We're glad you're tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We got a great show lined up for you today. Don, hey, we're back in the studio. It's
Yes, feels good to be back, too.
2024.
I know.
First show here in the studio. We've had a few out in the field with in Region 3 with me, but good to be back in the studio.
It really is, and it's time to kind of go to the top of the list on our radio stations, you know? Kind of recharge, restart for the new year. We're going to go with WZYX in Cowan, Tennessee. They were our first radio station to play WildCast, and we certainly appreciate them. Saturday mornings at 6 a.m., it's our flagship station, WZYX in Cowan.
Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate those partners. We appreciate the folks who run us on the TV stations.
Yes.
We're on Carbon TV now. If you haven't heard that, carbontv.com, or find it on your favorite streaming app,
Right.
Roku and things like that. And download us on the podcast, whatever your favorite podcasting app is there. Listen there.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, like us, share us, and keep coming back. Another cool thing, Don, it's the 75th anniversary of the agency, right?
Exactly. And I was here for the 50th. I wasn't here for the from the get-go, but almost seems like. But yeah, it's really neat to look back, you know, and kind of assess what all has happened in a good way with wildlife and conservation over the last 25 years, and like last 75 since 1949, when we were initiated as the Tennessee Game and Fish Commission.
Yeah, and I think that was in February, so that's why we're kind of kicking it off in February of this year. And you'll see events going on around the state. We're going to try to put some stuff together for folks to come out and enjoy and celebrate the 75th anniversary of the agency.
Yep.
So a lot of cool stuff there. Before we get too deep here, I just want to introduce our guest. Tyler Deaver is here with us this week. Appreciate you coming back and being on the show with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys.
It's been what? Episode 204, I believe it was, way back, a few years.
It's been a while. I had that long hair we were talking about before. It's down to my shoulders almost. It's scary looking.
Yeah. Hey, looking good. Got the clean cut going on. We're going to dive into some stuff you've been getting into. You now have a son who's out hunting and fishing with you. And
He's a wild man, a 3-year-old monster is what he is.
yeah, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to those stories.
And I think it was a workout video or something you saw online, right? Of working out where Tyler's kind of prepping for maybe a trip out west or something.
Yeah, so I thought I got to get in on some of this.
Yeah.
I could use a little workout. So, but before we dive into all that, turkey season is going to be here before you know it. Spring will be here. I just want to touch on those dates. So, April 6th and 7th is the young sportsman hunt for the 24 spring season, and then April 13th through the May 26th is when the adults and everybody else can get out there and chase them.
Right.
So that's cool. Squirrel season runs through March 15th, so get out there and chase some squirrels. Rabbit season and grouse and quail, I've noticed on our little cheat sheet here, is February 29th, so leap year, get an extra day.
Get that extra day, yeah. Take advantage of it.
So get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Now's a great time to small game hunt and get ready for turkey season and all that fun stuff. Last thing that I want to touch on is the application period for the elk. That is open. A lot of people may have missed that last year. We adjusted that application period so folks can get their name in a hat and then have more time to prep for the hunt.
Right.
Rather than having that happen
plan
later.
Vacation times and things like that. It's just makes it a lot more convenient, and get your name in the hat early.
Yeah. So through February 28th, that's the deadline. February 28th for the application period for the elk. 19 permits this year. 17. Will go into the quota, 1 youth quota, which is 18, and then 1 for the conservation rifle, which makes 19 permits.
Yes.
So go outdoorstennessee.com to buy your license, to apply for those, and get outside.
That's right.
Yeah. So Tyler, thanks for being here. You're going to play some songs for us today. We're going to talk hunting. We're going to talk fishing. I'm excited. I tell you what, let's do a song. Let's go ahead and kick it off with a song.
Sure. We can do that. Yeah.
You've got a couple here. I don't know which one you want to do first, but just kind of introduce it. And let's jump in there. Yeah,
Absolutely. Good to be back. I'm glad it had been a while. I was glad we're friends on Facebook and stuff, so I see you occasionally in the metaverse, right? But it's good to see you guys in person again, and I always love being in here with all the the stuff we love, right? The recurve, and I got the bear archery thing. That's good stuff. And this song I guess I'll throw first at you. It's called "Country Music Got Sold."
Okay.
And I wrote this a few years back for when I've got to cut my first album officially. Finally put one together and saved up enough, all them pennies, and put it together. And one thing I always used to miss, and kind of we were talking about before we were on here, was on the radio stations. It used to be so much '90s country, which I'm a '93 baby, so I grew up with that. But I love the classic stuff too. And I just remember growing up, and man, I just loved. There's some songs that would come on like right when I would, was probably old enough to start driving, and before, where I'd be like, man, like it had me hooked, right? The words had me hooked, not just the melody, but those lyrics had me. And I would like stop, and I was focused on and cranking up that radio and listening to what they were saying. And I'm all for just a fun, nothing song with just kind of the whatever lyrics, but I miss those. There used to be so many songs like that, man.
Yeah,
of that, and the meat and potato song, and that's why we love country so much, and that's kind of what this song is about. This one's "Country Music Got Sold," and play that for you and see what you think.
Awesome.
Guess they must have sold it, 'cause there's nothing left to see. They bulldozed in that structure. It stood 100 years plus me. Maybe I can buy it back with these pennies I've been making. The guitar picking, singing folks ain't making in the bacon. Do you hear me out there? Is anybody listening? It ain't too late if we start now. Grab some bricks and we'll start building. Can one man make a difference at 20-some years old? Nobody told me country music got sold. Don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to rattle your cage. Some of these songs today I'd be ashamed to have written by my name. I used to turn up that dial and listen to the stories, maybe even shed a tear for the songs that seemed made for me. Do you hear me out there? Is anybody listening? Ain't too late if we start now. Grab some bricks and we'll start building. Can one man make a difference at 20-some years old? Nobody told me country music got sold. They forgot to tell me country music got sold.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that one. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, how's that project going? A new album that's on the latest album, right? Yeah.
Well, yes, this one was on my when I actually got to cut and everything.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of that process of kind of compiling all the other ones and kind of ciphering through all the how it is. Like I have like literally on my phone, I could probably show you 200 verse and chorus type of situations.
Ideas, yeah.
But it's like, and then you gotta narrow down and pick. Okay, I'm gonna pick 10 of them or whatever it is, and you know how it is. Like as musicians, you guys both know it's like cutting an album is not cheap, man. Like there's some studios, it's like where you're paying to get it done by like a professional group and everything. You might pay $2,000 a song. It's like, woo.
Yeah.
So it adds up quick. And so, but there's other studios where you don't have to pay that much, right? And luckily, as a musician, you have a bunch of musician friends that are willing to play a lot cheaper, and they're still super talented.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's kind of more the route that I think I'll be going this time. And then you can cut a few more of your tunes too, which is exciting. So I'm hoping maybe in this next year I'll be able to get another album out there. I'm thinking.
Well, definitely in the right town for it, and there's all kinds of talent out there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I mean, even doing it at home is easy too sometimes. The technology there, it's making it easier for artists to cut their own stuff.
Absolutely. You should have brought your instruments, throw out the drums. We could have cut a promo right here.
Man, what are we thinking? Demo. We could have had a demo.
Right. That's right.
So
Yeah, you were talking about the technology's changed, but gosh, yeah, there are a lot of home, quote unquote, home studios now where, I play with. Well, we play with a guitar player that does overdubs at his house. They'll send the track over, and he'll sit there and work out the arrangement and do his own thing, and then ship it back over.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and like Jason was saying, we are in a hotbed of musicianship here.
Yeah.
A lot of times people say, "Oh man, I went to this great studio and spent all this money," but the studio is one thing, but the musicianship is really what brings it home.
Absolutely. And you're right, man. There's so many good artists. It's like, obviously you've had a ton of them on the show, right? It's like, I know I have a friend, Jimmy Herman is his name. He's good buddies with Chris that you had on your podcast a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Jimmy used to play fiddle for like Carrie Underwood and all them, and him and Chris play all the time. And it's just like, you run into these guys and you don't know who you're talking to. Like, how talented they are. And it's the same thing at downtown. I mean, George Jones, longtime steel player, still plays downtown. I've played with him a few times on Broadway in the past, where they still want to play and, down there too. And, and it's like, you never know who you're looking at. You tell his crowds come in and you don't realize that's George Strait's this, or that's, whoever. It's like, it's crazy, man.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's talk hunting, fishing.
absolutely.
How did your 23-24 season go? I mean, we're now in 24, but the 23 hunting season, how was it?
Yes.
What'd you get into?
So admittedly, this year, I didn't get to hunt as much as I wanted. That's my first excuse, right?
Yeah.
But the good thing is the one trip I really got to go on, it was successful, with the harvest and everything. So I was really happy about that. I did a ton of fly fishing this year, just because it's, it's a little more accessible. And you know how it is. I got a 3-year-old son, and he keeps me busy with everything else, and a lot of touring this year. And so I didn't get it in the hunting woods as much as I was hoping. I'm thinking this year will be different. I got a bunch of stuff planned, but I got to go back home, and I did a decent chunk of shed hunting and stuff down here, but didn't really get in the woods too much to actually hunt. But I went back home to Wisconsin in November, and I got a really nice buck on Veterans Day when I was up there.
Oh, nice.
Had a nice one, and I got him out of, I think we talked about last time, I hunt out of a tree saddle a lot of times.
Yeah.
Just because, man, it's just, they're so versatile, and you can just kind of get anywhere.
Makes it easy too. It's pretty crazy. I just started hunting out of one of those.
Did you? I was going to say, I remember last time we talked about them years ago, and they weren't really taking off yet. And now it's like, that's the thing, And but I loved it because it was one of those things where had I not had that, might have got pegged in the tree because I was he kind of came up over a ridge and I was kind of right there, and so like being able to kind of being behind the tree, sort of. He didn't really see me, and he came to a grunt call that I had. He had kind of crested a ridge, and where I grew up in Wisconsin, it's really hilly, so it's like big cliffs and stuff. So he kind of came out of a ditch, and I could see from a distance, good sized bodied buck. I could tell it was a buck, and he went over the ridge. Where I never really got to see his headgear, and I didn't see the antlers much, and so I could hear him walking just over the lip of the ridge, and so I grunted kind of to my left over the hill that I'm on the edge of.
Oh, yeah.
And I just kind of waited, and sure enough, he kind of popped over like, oh, what's going on? And looked, and he was looking right at the base of my tree, kind of like trying to see. And lucky for me, he was curious enough that he didn't just leave. He kind of came over and he walked about 22 yards, and he was just looking right past me, and I was able to shoot him, and he literally ran about 5 yards and he was right there. So I didn't no track job, which was nice.
Yeah.
That's always a benefit, and probably the easiest drag job I've ever had because he was on the top of the ridge. So I just down to the hill road, and I pulled the truck up and went down to the house. So I was like, that ain't gonna happen again.
Gravity's a good thing in that case, isn't it?
It never happens that way. They always go to the valley, and then you have to drag them back out. So I was like, this is happening right now. Like, it was a good day, and got the freezer full of deer venison, which is great.
Good.
And man, the wife and my son and I, like, that's pretty much what we're living off of right now. That's great to have. And so it was a good season in the deer woods for sure. And I'm looking hopefully get some turkey hunting in this spring. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm ready to chase some gobblers, man.
Well, holler at me. We'll go.
I'd love to, man. That'd be fun.
Hit some public land, or search out some spots. That'd be fun. So you said you're back in your country, but were you on your family farm, I guess?
Yes, I was on the one of the family farms there. It's we had probably, it's been quite a few years ago now. We used to have a couple farms I grew up on, old dairy farms. And we sold one of them a few years back, unfortunately. And it's, the age-old thing. Like, it's the way it goes, man. Farms get sold, you know.
Country gets sold, right?
Oh, it hurts, man. It hurts. Luckily, though, I still have a good relationship with the landowners. And so they usually let me hunt when I'm back if I want to and everything.
Very good.
Great.
So they're really generous about that. And so that's great, because a lot of people, when they lose the land, they don't get that. So I'm lucky that they are still very cool people, and they're from the area back there, so they know the family and stuff. And so, I get, man, not everybody gets to grow up doing that. I was very lucky where being so obsessed with the fishing and the hunting, that's all I wanted to do. I stayed out of trouble, because like I was so busy when school would get done, I'd drive right to the farm, and I was fishing or whatever like that. And I was also lucky because my mom was the high school secretary, so she'd let me play hooky every once in a while. And there's a lot of Fridays in November where I'd be like, hey, don't have anything to do this afternoon. And if I could just maybe, and she's like, just go. And I'm like,
it's only so many hours of daylight.
I'm like, I can get in the stand. That was the great thing too, is like that farm, it is like in rural small towns. The farm isn't too far away from town. So I could get down to the farm in 20 minits. And so I'm like sitting there going like, I could be in the stand in about 50 minutes if I hurry, kind of thing. And so I had I was lucky, man. I didn't take it for granted then, and I'm glad, because, it's being, a long ways away now. That isn't the case, it's a lot of folks that live, in the city. You got to drive a good poke to get to some good private land, or to any land, public land as well, know? So I was lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what about fishing this past year? And I saw a photo of you and your son out fishing. I see the trout hat going on. Yeah. So I know you're a big trout fisherman, but how'd the fishing season go?
It was fun, man. I love fly fishing. It's just something that my uncle, years ago, we were just fishing, and he lives in Colorado, and he's a big outdoorsman. He's done it all, man. He even got to go shoot a red stag this year. So he's been to Africa. He's been everywhere to shoot animals and stuff. Cool. And great fisherman, great fly fisherman. And he got me into. We were catching bluegill, I think, somewhere. I was pretty young, and we were catching. And he handed me his fly rod, and I thought it was just the feeling's so different. If you've never done it, it's hard to explain, but you just feel it so much more, than obviously than like a regular, like a bait cast or any kind of a reel like that. Definitely. And it's not that it's the regular reels are awesome too. I love it, but like something about that fly rod, man. And of course the weights, the lighter the rod, the more you feel it on a fly rod. So like I have for trout fishing, I'll have like a 3-weight rod, so it feels like you're catching a 30-inch fish. Sometimes when it's only like a 12-inch fish. Yeah. And so it's it's fun. And I grew up doing that and just got hooked, no pun intended. And then I would get into all the flies and all that stuff, man. Like everything though, man, you can spend as much money as you want to, right? I mean, whew, that stuff ain't cheap, and so I get to go, and I've got to catch a lot of trout this year, and I'd love to. I see some guys, they'll backpack up into like some mountain stream and stuff, know, and catch like cutthroat and stuff like that. I would love to do something like that one day. A lot of times I'm catching brown, just because there's brown trout just about anywhere you go, it seems like. But got to fish in Montana a little bit this year and catch some trout, which is pretty cool. When I was out playing some shows out west, and that was beautiful out there, man. That's just a whole nother thing out there. Sitting on the mountain, just there ain't nobody out there, just you and the fish, and that's a good feeling, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we'll get into some talk about out west, but how about you play us another song?
Yeah,
and then we'll dive into some of that workout stuff you'd been talking about.
Absolutely.
This one, 100 Acres, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this one. Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
This one, this kind of that farm I was telling you about. So it's, if I'm being technical, the farm that we sold was 80 acres, but it was 100 acres sings better.
Sings better, yeah.
Rounded up a little bit. And it's, it's like, I think that so many farm kids or anybody that grew up in the rural setting like that, it's like to, lose a piece of land or somebody that had a family like that happens. And there's so many people that's the case. And, I wanted to write a song about just how it made me feel. And, I guess it's, one of those things where like I proposed to my wife on that farm and like, which I know, I don't know if I can sound any more redneck than that, right? But that's the way it is, but, a lot of great memories, of that place. And my dog and I, man, my dog Copper, I'd lost her this year. She 13 years old, and the adventures and the stuff that we got into up there, all the shed antlers and stuff. So it's a special place. And it was over a century farm for my family. So it was tough to lose it. So that's what this song's kind of about. And, I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but it's at least I remember it. So
I'm sure it'll paint pictures for many listeners out there.
Oh yeah,
I hope you like it.
Remember that old tractor shed, all the times that we hid in the cab of that Massey Ferguson, just a guy and a girl. 100 acres, being a farm kid has its perks. Sunset ridge tops after church, holding hands walking down the logging road, just a guy and a girl. 100 acres. I think we took that place for granted, the cows, the hills, and the whitetail bucks. I wonder if that shed's still standing. I wonder if that farm kinda misses us, just a guy and a girl. 100 acres. I guess you heard they sold the farm. Big city money's got a tempting charm. They sold the tractor and the house, then burned it down. Guess it's up to us to keep the memories around. I think we took that place for granted, the cows, the hills, and the whitetail bucks. I wonder if that shed's still standing. I wonder if that farm kinda misses us, just a guy and a girl. 100 acres. I think we took that place for granted, the cows, the hills, and the whitetail bucks. I wonder if that shed's still standing. Wonder if that farm misses us. Just a guy and a girl, 100 acres.
Little farm song there.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that. I can just see some folks going through that, and missing that farm or
Wonder if that farm still misses us.
I like that lyric. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely that's cool.
Nice.
Well, before we run out of time, we got a few minutes here. I was browsing Facebook one day. I saw you working out, carrying tires or weight balls or something. I mean, up the hill. And,
Ian Derrick Henry, huh?
Yeah, right? No kidding, right? I wish.
and then I saw you out shooting a bow with your son in the same kind of setting. But anyway, what's going on there? What are you working for? What are you working towards?
Yeah, this year I really wanted to, I feel like, lifting and trying to stay in somewhat shape has always been something, that I've kind of dabbled in since middle school. But I really wanted this year to like take it up a notch, and I think for probably about the last year, I've been like, I really want to get in good shape and be ready, and it helps a lot of things. I want to do it just for me, too, yeah. But I want to eventually be able to go out west, and one of my biggest dreams to do, of course, elk hunting, but I really would love to do like a spot and stalk mountain high country mule deer hunt, where I'm probably by myself, just, dispersed camping, backpacking for a week or two at a time, and I'll have to haul that thing out myself, and, it's like, there's people that do that, but it's like, mule deer are not small, obviously, like that's a lot. If you get one, and if I'm lucky enough to be successful, I want to be able to be strong enough. I still probably won't be able to take it out in one trip, but like be strong enough and in shape enough to be able to pack out, 200 pounds or whatever it is on my backpack and make a trip or two. And I'm like, I know I can't do that right now, so it's like, I want to start that process. And part of that's the cardio too. And I don't love cardio. I don't know many people that do. And I, actually the other day, I'm going to run a half marathon with my sister, in Nashville in April when they have the St. Jude's marathon. Cool. So I'm going to run a half because I'm not ready for a full yet, but I'm going to run the half and see how it goes. And I've been putting on the miles, and we had a tree fall down in our yard a while back, so we'd cut that up.
That's what it was. Log.
Carrying the log.
I wasn't tired.
There's a couple of them there's a couple light ones I'll like kind of warm up with, and but I don't even know what they weigh. I need to get a scale on them, but they got to be pretty hefty. And they're, of course, after it rains or something too, it's those things are just soaked and heavy. So that's kind of been my training tactic, and see where it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's always good to be in shape for just life, and being around for your kids one day too, and that's cool. And so stay healthy, get out there and work for it, especially if you're going to hunt like that too.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Tyler's been navigating all those out west regulations and all the stuff you got to put in for tags and that kind of thing. And every state's different. And we were just talking.
He said Tennessee's easy.
I know, by comparison. Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
Tennessee's awesome by comparison. The West, it gets tricky out there, but no, I love the TWRA, man. You got the great map systems and everything. It's very straightforward compared to a lot of states.
All right.
100%.
Awesome.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, I appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
I feel like the show flew by, but it's a great conversation, great music. We'll have to have you back.
That sounds like a plan. So good to see you guys again, man.
Yeah.
All right. Same here, Tyler.
Been fun. Don, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you guys for watching, for listening. Share us, like us, find us out there, and tell others, and keep watching. So this is Tennessee WildCast, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.